summer of 1969, 3 newspapers in California received letters. They were not ordinary letters. They were written by someone claiming to be a killer, someone who said he had already taken lives, someone who wanted the whole world to know. Inside the envelopes were details, threats, and a code, a cipher that looked impossible to understand. The message was clear: print this or more people will die. At first it sounded unbelievable, a murderer demanding front-page attention, a killer turning violence into a performance. But the fear was real. Police searched for answers. Editors debated what to publish. Readers opened their morning newspapers and realized the danger was no longer hidden in the dark. It was speaking directly to them. The killer did not just want to escape. He wanted control. He wanted attention. He wanted a name. Soon, California would know that name: Zodiac. Before the letters made him famous, the fear began quietly. Not in a crowded city, not in front of cameras, but on empty roads late at night, where headlights disappeared into fog and parked cars looked harmless. In December 1968, near Vallejo, a young couple stopped on a lonely road. To the person watching, it became an opportunity. What happened there was fast, violent, and confusing. By the time police arrived, the attacker was gone. No speech, no warning, no name, only questions. Months passed. Then, on the night of July 4th, 1969, another couple was attacked near Blue Rock Springs Park. This time, someone survived. A description was possible. A timeline was possible. And then came something even more chilling. A phone call. A man contacted police and claimed responsibility. He did not sound panicked. He did not sound sorry. He sounded like someone beginning to enjoy control. Investigators now had a pattern. Young people, isolated places, nighttime, sudden violence, and a killer willing to speak after it was over. But they did not yet understand what he wanted. Soon the letters would arrive, the code would spread, the newspapers would print, and the man in the dark would step into public fear without ever showing his face. By the end of the summer of 1969, police were no longer looking at separate attacks. They were looking at a pattern. When the next message arrived, it did not feel like a confession. It felt like an introduction. This is the Zodiac speaking. With that line, the unknown attacker became something more dangerous. A persona, a symbol, a voice the public could recognize, even though nobody could see him. That was the power of it. He had no known face, no confirmed identity, no clear motive. But now he had a name. And names are easy to remember. The investigation changed overnight. Police were no longer just chasing a man. They were chasing an image he created for himself. Then, in September 1969, the fear moved somewhere different. Lake Berryessa, daylight, open water, a place where danger should have felt far away. A young couple relaxed near the lake, surrounded by calm hills and bright afternoon air. Then a figure appeared. Not from the fog, not from a dark road, but in the open, prepared, controlled, almost theatrical. And for the first time, the terror had a visual form. The attack was brutal, but the image was what survived. A masked figure, a symbol, a message left behind. Then he disappeared again. By the time help arrived, the calm lake had become part of the nightmare. The Zodiac was no longer just a voice in letters. He was a presence, a performance, a shadow that could appear anywhere. And then less than 3 weeks later, the fear reached San Francisco. A quiet taxi ride, a city street, an ordinary night. The victim was not a couple on a lonely road, not someone parked by a lake. This time it was a cab driver doing his job. The attack stunned investigators. It changed the geography of the case. Rural roads were not the only danger. Now the city itself felt exposed. Witnesses saw enough to create a description. Police moved fast. Patrol cars cut through the streets. Sirens echoed through quiet neighborhoods. Soon after, another message arrived. This time, it carried proof. The killer wanted police and newspapers to know the same thing. He was still in control. Each scene changed him. The roads made him frightening. The letters made him famous. The lake made him visual. The city made him unpredictable. And the name tied it all together. Zodiac. By the end of 1969, the case was no longer just an investigation. It had become a public obsession. Every letter mattered. Every witness mattered. Every mistake mattered. Because the man behind the name was still hidden. And the shadow he created was growing larger than the truth. By late 1969, the Zodiac was no longer just a killer. He was a public fear. The letters had done what he wanted. People were watching the newspapers. Police were under pressure. And California was waiting for his next move. Then came the threat that terrified everyone, a school bus. The idea alone was enough. Children on ordinary morning routes, parents waiting at sidewalks, police cars following buses through quiet neighborhoods. The Zodiac didn't have to appear. His words were already moving the city. Investigators chased every clue they could find. Witness descriptions became sketches. Sketches became suspects. Suspects became headlines. But none of it became proof. Tips flooded police stations. Phones rang constantly. Men were questioned. Leads collapsed. And every time the case seemed close, it slipped away again. That was the nightmare. The name was everywhere. But the man was nowhere. The Zodiac kept sending messages. Some carried threats, some carried symbols, some seemed designed only to confuse. But with every letter, the myth grew larger. Then, slowly, the voice began to fade. The letters became less frequent. The trail grew colder. The case moved from urgent manhunt to unanswered legend. Over the years, suspects came and went. Theories multiplied. Books were written, films were made. But the central question never disappeared. Who was the Zodiac? No confirmed face, no final confession, no courtroom ending. Just fragments, letters, sketches, memories, and fear. The Zodiac wanted attention, he got it. He wanted a name people would remember, he got that too. But history remembers something darker. Not genius, not mystery, not glamour. A man who turned fear into a performance and left families, investigators, and an entire state with questions that still have no final answer. The Zodiac case did not end with an arrest. It ended as a shadow, and that shadow never fully disappeared.